Fill your day with joy and happiness here on 90.9 FM, Radio Baha'i. Streaming at radiobaha'i.us.
Sending you love, peace, and unity. This is 90.9 FM, Radio Baha'i. It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And I have a special guest with me here today to talk to us a little bit about the community garden event that's coming up on Earth Day this weekend, April the 20th. Good friend of mine, always a pleasure. We talk every single year.
Yes.
My good friend Giany. Giany, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you for having me back.
No.
It's always a pleasure to come and visit you.
Oh man, I just appreciate you taking the time out. I mean, much love to you and everything that you all are doing at the community garden. But I always, started off by letting you introduce yourself. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way, because everybody pretty much is starting to know about the community garden, but for those that don't, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Giany Guedjo. I'm the director of Carolina Reinvestment. We have several programs. One of them is the community garden. So every year, since we are in gardening, we honor the earth. We want to celebrate the earth, and celebrating the earth. A part of that is to joining the celebration of Earth Day. Yeah, Earth Day is always a signature event for us. This year we are expecting more people to come to the garden. So
it's always great, we've been out there a few times, maybe like for three different occasions, and every single year it gets bigger and bigger, and I think that's a testament to what you all are doing. But let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit. What got you into gardening? What got you involved in that? Have you always had a passion and a love for agriculture?
Passion and love, yes. I'm from Benin, West Africa, so I grew up in around farming. Okay. My father was in farming greatly, but here, working with the students we work with, we wanted them to have a more outdoor experience, and that's how we started the garden. So we went from 8 raised beds for students, and during COVID, we expanded the garden. Today, we have 152 raised beds at the community garden. Something we're doing unique this year is that during COVID, the kids have access to the garden. They were there almost every day. Right. But once COVID, rescinded and school started back up, the kids went back to school. Right. They don't get to see the garden as much. So we are taking now the garden to the schools. So we are implementing school gardens in 4 schools at this point. Okay. Our hope is to reach 8 at some point. But right now we have a garden at the Wakoma Intermediate School, a garden at the Wakoma Middle School in process. And we also have 2 gardens in Andrews Elementary School and Andrews Middle School coming up this month. Okay. So we have a ribbon cutting at one of the garden very soon.
Right. Well, when you first started this, when you all got this together, did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that it would expand the way that it has over the last few years?
Absolutely not. I would say, fooling around. And, getting the kids in gardening was the goal. We did that. But, with COVID, outdoor space became a big thing. And, once we start building the greenhouse, we reach out to the community, and the community show interest. And at that point, it started becoming bigger and bigger. And I was like, okay, God is saying something here. You want to probably be a good steward and listen to what he's telling you. Absolutely. Get out of the way and let him grow it. Yeah. And faithfully, volunteers come around. Faithfully, we have, support from the community that just make everything grow. It's not a one-person project, and I'm very blessed to have a very supportive board members on our team and very dedicated staff that carry the program forward. So we have been blessed to see the community coming together to make this happen.
Yeah. So when you all were thinking about this garden, how did it all come together? Was it an idea that one person had, and you all were like, "Okay, this is a good idea," or did you all just kind of sit down and say, "How can we bring something to the community?" How did that look?
The garden really was a small idea of mine,
Mhm.
right? So working with students
Mhm.
is almost like trying something new
Hmm.
for the students so they
Right.
can get their hands on something and talk about it, write about it, read about it, and be creative around the outdoor spirit.
Yeah.
And then from there, it start growing and keep growing. It was a dream
Hmm.
that completely came true, and now we are just blessed to be able to support the community and give back to the community the way we do. When you look at the last 2 years with our community garden, just from the outside, when you visit the garden, we have two main sessions in there:
Right.
the outdoor space and the indoor space for the greenhouse. The outdoor space, we harvested and donated to the community more than 15,000 pounds of food.
Hmm.
And then from the indoor, we have a unique hydroponic system in there. That system generates more than 16,000 head count of either lettuce, bok choy, kale, Swiss chard from that system that went to the community. So
Hmm.
it is a very powerful way to share our heart with the community,
Yeah.
and we are very blessed to be in that position.
Yeah. So the kids, how are they reacting to, starting off with something like small and watching it grow?
It is
How's that process? It got to
it
be pretty
is
invigorating to you all.
it is amazing to
Yeah.
see the eyes of the kids coming back to notice that that little tiny seed they put in the ground
Hmm.
is becoming a true plant,
Right.
and the life cycle and watching it to the point is all mature and harvest.
Mm.
It is amazing to see the process with the kids, and especially carrots. When they pull a carrot, it's just amazing to see the expression on their faces when they pull it the first time.
Yeah.
Carrot is one thing that we use all the time to encourage the kids to go gardening.
Yeah.
Once you have a child that never pull a carrot, they just want to come back for more carrots. So it's very cool to see.
Yeah. So the kids, like, how many kids do you all have as of right now?
So we work with the after school program. We have
Mhm.
an after school program. Summertime we transition from the after school program to a summer program.
Mhm.
What we have 4 locations.
Okay.
We are at the Wakoma Intermediate School. We are right here in Georgetown at the Housing Authority.
Mhm.
We are also working on a site at the Wakoma Middle School, and we are also at the fifth Memorial Campus
Okay.
in Paris. One of our efforts this summer will be expanding to the Andrews area. So we are hoping to be at the middle school at some point this summer and be able to reach out to the students that are in the middle school next year. So we are expanding a little bit. We are expecting in our summer program 60 students. At this point, we are averaging about 60 students in our program. Our expansion to Andrews might put us right around the 80 to 100 students. And the goal is to get the kids involved in gardening, get them to learn. There's a lot of STEM activities and a lot of science behind gardening, especially when you look at the hydroponic side.
Yeah.
The root system, the petal, the flowers, the whole life cycle, the pH system of the soil or the water. There's a lot of science just hidden in that gardening that we can really work around with the students.
Yeah.
We really hoping to take that science to the schools and eventually create a salad bar in the schools. That's the goal.
Yeah.
If we can accomplish that.
Yeah. When I think about the different projects that you all have the kids doing, I talk about having a great appreciation for growing your own food. When you all like teach kids like how to how to plant and how to grow this, what was the thought behind it? Is it just the fact of making them be more involved with agriculture, or just maybe something a little bit different than what they were used to? What was the idea of that?
I think the idea is getting them involved into hands-on activities.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning idea. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the high school students, my pitch to them is, when you take one seed of lettuce, today you can sell that seed. 6 weeks later, that seed can value $4 in the grocery store. So when you look at one pack of seed of 1,000 seeds, it costs you $10 maybe. But then that's 10,000. That's 1,000 times 4. That's 4,000 completely that you can generate from that little pack of seed.
Wow. So
from a $10, you can look at the investment and the return on the investment. So not all kids will necessarily go to college. And that can be a good venue for somebody that really wants to eventually grab the trade and work with it.
Right.
It's possible. When you look at a high school on the career side, once you start to grow your stuff, you need to market that.
Right.
But how do you create a marketing plan? How do you create a business plan around these kind of concepts? So there's a lot packed into gardening at this level that we can offer to the schools. And that's really where we're heading. Impacting the kids, yes, we are really focused on the reading at the younger age. As they're growing through the system, we want to make sure they have opportunities that they can take on and grow with. And that's what really the thing behind it.
Yeah. When I think, Giany, about like different trades, like you really hit the nail on the head. Everybody's not going to go to college, right? And when I was in high school and I was in middle school, like we would have like these different trades, like workshop, free enterprise classes, right? And also like for they had like hairdressing, all these different like trades, like just in case like you don't choose to go to college, maybe you want to go to a trade school, you'll have that level of experience. And as soon as like they leave high school, they'll have like a level of certification for it. So it's so important that kids learn about different things like agriculture, because to me, I do feel like it's a lost art. And by bringing it into the schools, I think it'll make kids have an appreciation for it. Because around here with a radio station, there's farmland all around here, and there are kids that's throughout this area. So what you all are doing, it's so cool because these kids, like, they grow up around these areas. They see these farmers like planting all these different foods and different things around the area. And they probably wonder to themselves, like, how can I do it too? But you all are allowing them to do that with the gardens. Yes.
Yeah. And really the cool thing with that is we have the availability of resources. The land is a huge resource we have in our area, but it's not been put to use.
Right.
So if a student or if a young man or a young lady wanted to go in that route, they have the chance, and then we want them to know that is possible.
Right.
We want them to know they can get the right support to do it.
Right.
It's just making your mind and grow that mentality of, I'm going to get out there and make it happen.
Yeah.
So it's been rewarding to see it really happen.
Yeah. It's teaching about, like, not only learning a trade, but entrepreneurship, like how you just went over, like how a pack of seeds can basically, how it can turn into something very lucrative.
Absolutely.
if you actually learn how to do it. So
when you take our hydroponic system, for example, it's all pipes, right?
Right.
So that's plumbing.
Yep.
How to connect and how to design the pitching, the angles, all those are trades that a student can pick up and learn from. So our hydroponic system was professionally built by DS Plumbing locally in Paulus.
Right.
They came out and used our platform as a training platform, actually, for the employees to learn how to pipe stuff together and how to, create the pitch and all that. But that's something that we can teach also in the schools. So Georgetown High School, for example, has a greenhouse they're not really using.
Right.
Our hope is to see eventually that greenhouse becoming a hydroponic system. But we won't just go in and do it. We will get the help from the students and teach those students how to create their own hydroponic system. So there's a lot of education we are hoping to see happen.
Yeah.
But the other thing about the garden is the social aspect.
Right.
Like when we have gathering like this, Earth Day, is bringing the community together.
Right.
Is bringing everybody together. The platform became a social platform where someone that is isolated at home can come there and spend some time with their peers, their age peers, and have conversation, just have talk, just be with other people in a safe environment. So those aspects are also different. I would say different faces of the community garden that help the community.
Yeah. I mean, interaction, cooperation, those are the type of things that you need in a community. And when you have these young kids, not only are they socializing, but they're working collectively as a team to be able to make the garden what it is.
Yes.
And speaking of Pawleys Island, you mentioned it. April 20th is your Earth Day event. Always a great event. Now, I can remember like when we first got out there, maybe like 3 years ago, and how the garden first was, and then year 2 expanded, and then year 3
year 3 was bigger.
Yeah.
Well, wait till you see year 4, okay? Because year 4 we're changing things around a little bit. The hydroponic, the flower section is a little bit different. We have a different container, growing container now on site. So it's quite interesting to see the progress and the change. Especially now we are transitioning between season. So you're looking at all the greens phasing out, and now you have the tomato plants and the eggplants and peppers flourishing. It's very different all the time. You can visit every month and then think that it's a different platform you are visiting.
Yeah. How's the reception been? Like I said, this is going into what, the 4th year, if I'm not mistaken?
This will be our 4th year of celebrating Earth Day garden. Yes.
Yeah. So how has the reception been? Like I said, every year you have more and more people.
Yes.
So how's the feedback been? Has it been like a great anticipation for what you all are doing? Like how's the community like embracing this Earth Day event?
The Earth Day event is very, very celebrated. It's very welcomed by the community. It gives a weekend where people can really come and enjoy themselves at the garden. People wanted to tour the garden, but they don't know when to come or how to come.
Right.
That day is an open door. Everybody comes in. We have the live music, the food trucks, activities for kids. So and then we give tours. So if you are planning to be around town, stop by. Somebody will give you a tour. It is a great platform to see. I usually say in a hydroponic system, those are things you see when you go on a field trip on a Disney World. But locally here we have it. So it's good for people just to come out and see, and then just to embrace what we have in there. So it's been a good feedback from the community, and we have been very pleased to see a community garden in that effect in our community. Usually when you say community garden, people look at a family will own a bed, and care for the bed and harvest and take that home. We didn't want that platform. We wanted a complete community focused community garden. So nobody owns any bed. Everybody gets together, we grow together, and we donate together to the community. That's what makes a difference, I think. it's a very selfless things to be a part of something that grows and feed others when you don't even know who you're feeding. So we are very grateful to have access to the food pantries in our community that we use to send the foods into the community, but it helps us to really touch the community in a different way.
Yeah. You know, I always ask you this question, but I feel like it suffices to continue to ask you. When it's all said and done for you, as far as like, you know, y'all in the garden, you know, reaching all this youth.
Yes.
How do you want to be remembered as far as like with the garden, working with the kids? Like, what would you want your legacy to be?
I always say, the organization is designed. I call CHRSC a mentoring machine. Mm-hmm. Our motto, our byline will be where the Carolina kids, adults and young, grow together. Mm-hmm. So it's passing knowledge from one generation to the other. You said earlier, agriculture and gardening is almost like an art, but it's a dying art. Unless we transfer that knowledge from the old generation to the young generation, that torch is not going to stay alive.
Right.
So I think the legacy of the organization is going to be mentoring and transferring knowledge to the next generation that will really be able to carry our communities forward. We're trying to raise leaders and leaders that will be capable of handling the needs of the community. Yeah. And that's mainly the legacy the organization is working toward.
Yeah. You know, I think about like my grandfather, who was like really big in gardening. Like he always had a garden in the backyard, always had the tomatoes growing, always had the corn.
Yep.
And, you know, like you said, it's becoming a lost art. But, you know, the things that he taught me, I try to keep alive, and I try to like give to my son. Mm-hmm. Because I completely understand that. Like in the world that we are in right now, and, you know, education is extremely important. Everybody, you know, goes to college. They want to be the doctor, the lawyers, and we need that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But we also need people that are, you know, really embedded into agriculture as well. I mean, you need farmers, you need people to grow food.
There's no need for you to have money if you cannot spend it to buy something to eat.
Right.
And somebody had to do it so you can have it to eat. So, you know, it all works together. Somebody has to do it at some point. Or we will just keep importing from outside all the time. Yeah. But the neat thing is, if you go on our website, CHRSC.org, you will see on the front page a video. That video, we developed that video about 2 years ago during the summer. The kids tend to eat what they've grown themselves. And that's the key. They're not going to use, they will not eat easily the greens, salad, and lettuce. Right. But once they grow it, it is fun to see them just harvesting it and eating it. Right. Because now they know what is in there. They know the input and the output. Right. Then they're more willing to eat it. Yeah. So it's getting the kids to start eating healthy early. And that's what makes a difference. One program I haven't talked about yet is the Food Share program. Okay. We partner with the Food Share program, Food Share South Carolina. Right. So we run the Food Share Georgetown. Food Share Georgetown is on his third year now. With that program, we move in the community a little over 140,000 pounds of food. Wow. So it's focusing on anybody from the community can buy a box of food every 2 weeks for $20. Yeah. Anybody that has food stamp and EBT can buy one of those boxes for $5 with a partnership with DSS. So the goal is to get our adults to start eating healthy And then eventually the kids will develop the habit.
Yeah.
And then in the long run, what you're going to start to see is the change in the health outcome. In 20 years, if the student now are eating healthier, in 20 years, they will develop healthier habits and they will be more healthier. So that means our community health problems are going to go lower.
Yeah.
We will start seeing better and healthier community.
Yeah.
But it starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
So with this program, we are encouraging people to just be a part of it. And it comes with recipe cards.
Mm.
So we tell you how to cook some of the items that are very unusual in the boxes. It has been very fun to see our students and our families in the community to be a part of that program.
Yeah. And also, you know, like in certain areas, people will say all the time, like, well, it's kind of hard for me to like go get fresh fruit and fresh fresh vegetables, right? Like you have to go like further out to go to like Whole Food markets and stuff like that. But what you all are doing, like growing your own food, like that is such a benefit.
It's making it available.
Yeah.
Right. So it takes with a raised bed of 4 by 8, you can feed a family for a long time if you do it right. So I usually encourage people, come to the garden, come and see what we're doing, learn from what we do, take it home, and do it at home. Originally, the garden idea started with adopt a bed, where each family will adopt a bed. And my goal was to move my students around so we can get to know the families, socialize better with the families. And that will be a way we are engaging with our community. And get our students to engage with our community. That idea was quite, I would say, a little pricey because transportation issues. But also, in the communities where we are in Paulis, there's a lot of HOAs. So that wouldn't work. And that's why we end up with one main location for the community garden. So, yes, people can take this concept home, have a 4 by 8 behind their house. And what I like about the raised beds is, you know where you put your money. You put your money in the compost, and you know exactly is in that bed. So when you are planting, you are not just planting anywhere. You're planting in your compost that you set up. And when you rotate from one season to the other, you just keep adding to the compost. It's still there. So the investment is in one place, and the harvest is beautiful.
I every time I go out there, it's just amazing to see. Like I said, the growth. Every time we go to Pawleys Island, like it's never the same experience. And it's just a testament to what you all are doing out there. You know, working extremely hard, and the community is working extremely hard as well. So, and also last thing you mentioned, you talk about the kids and, you know, watching them like grow their own food. Yeah, I have a tendency to believe that when you work for something, like it makes it a little bit more sweeter, right?
Yes.
You know, like when something is like given to you, you'll have an appreciation for it. But when you like really put the groundwork into it and really work towards it, like it makes it so satisfying, and you know, like I know that these kids, like when they're growing this food, it gotta be extremely satisfying for them.
It's something about the self-confidence and, you know, the self-satisfaction, the ownership. You know, the kids take ownership. Oh, I did this. I was a part of growing this. And that process alone is a teaching moment for us. So it's you know, building the characters for the kids. Accountability on, we put the seed in the ground. Well, we better make sure the seed gets some water. We better make sure it has enough food to eat. So it's a whole teaching process to work with the kids on that part. So it's been a pleasure to see it happen.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure just watching the garden grow. And once again, April 20th in Pawleys Island, you all will be having your Earth Day event. Can you give them the address and location?
The address is 772 Pettigrew Drive.
Okay.
In Pawleys Island. It's next door to Alpha Pause. And if you are coming from the Highway 17 going up north, you will take your left on right after McDonald's. If you are coming from Georgetown going to Middle Beach, after McDonald's, you take your left at the light, and you take your second right, you will be right on Pettigrew Drive, and we ride down the road from there.
Yeah. So make sure you come on out. It's going to be a great event. You know, the atmosphere is great.
Absolutely.
The music is great. And also the fellowship is great as well. Giany, thank you so much for taking the time out, stopping by. It's always a pleasure to speak with you about your event, and you all are doing an outstanding job, and looking forward to seeing what this garden, can be year after year, because you all do an amazing job.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, this is 90.9 FM Radio Baha'i. Thank you so much, Giany.
You're welcome.
Yeah.